Good evening, everyone, and welcome to No DQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Aaron Rift, NoDQ. My name is Aaron Rift. Thank you for watching. If you are watching for the first time, I appreciate your viewership. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have been watching before, you know what to expect. You know you're in for some rants tonight. I definitely plan on ranting about this show. I thought it was a very weird pay-per-view. First of all, too long. 4 hours, in my opinion, is just too long for a wrestling show. So now you know how I feel about WrestleMania, but at least that's WrestleMania. I'm just so burned out on all this WWE content. 3-hour Raws, 2-hour SmackDowns. Then you expect me to watch NXT, and now you have 4-hour pay-per-views every single month. I'm just so tired of it. I felt like if this was a 3-hour show, you took out some of the filler, maybe it would have been a little bit stronger. But that, of course, is a big maybe. So, let's go ahead and break it down. We were treated to not one, but 2 kickoff matches. One of those kickoff matches was a rematch from SmackDown, because you know WWE, they have to have their rematches. Even if one guy beats another guy decisively, we got to do a rematch just for the hell of it, just for the sake of doing rematches. No storyline reason behind it. Maybe there was a controversial ending, but no, we'll just do a rematch and then do the same exact finish on top of that. So basically it was Andrade Cien Almas versus Sin Cara. And by the way, Sin Cara almost got seriously hurt at one point landing on the apron. It was a scary moment. The match itself was really nothing. It was just filler. It was exactly what it was, a kickoff match with 25% of the fans in the building. Andrade Cien Almas won with his double knee stomp to the corner, or whatever it's called. I'm not sure if there's an actual name for the finisher. Maybe somebody can help me in the chat room. He hit the hammerlock DDT after the double knees. I'm not sure what the name of the moves are, though, if he has a specific name for them. But yeah, it was pretty much what I expected going in. I did not think that there would be 50-50 booking, nor should there be. Quite frankly, Almas should be making short work of Sin Cara and move on to something else. But I'm not really a fan of doing the same match twice when there's really no need to do it. Almas should have just won the first match and then move on. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. Virtue says, I want to marry Zelina. And Jeffrey says, Asuka needs to go back to Japan and take Nakamura with her. Well, we will talk about both Asuka and Nakamura on this video. A lot of things happened on this show. I will say that it was an eventful 4-hour show. People were wondering about Dean Ambrose. Would he show up? People were wondering, would Hulk Hogan show up? Of course, the big news today, Hulk Hogan has been reinstated into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, somebody out there might need to help me here. When did Hulk Hogan get banned from the Hall of Fame? Just wondering. Because I was under the impression he was not taken out of the Hall of Fame. I'm very confused by that, but whatever. Hogan is back. WWE has officially welcomed him back into the locker room. He was there backstage at the show. He spoke with the wrestlers. He apologized. And I suspect we will see Hulk Hogan on WWE television very soon. Kayfabe Candy Ass says he was not taken out, he was just removed from the website. Okay, whatever. We'll talk more about that later, I'm sure. So let's talk about the second kickoff match, which was the tag team tables match between the New Day and Sanity. I thought that this was a fine match. I did enjoy this. I thought it was good for a kickoff match. Eddie Smith just left a $10 super chat donation. The booking on this pay-per-view was completely overbooked and just confusing across the board. Amen to that, Eddie Smith. I agree with you 100%, and I will discuss that that opinion here in just a moment. So I did enjoy the tables match. I think Kofi stole the show in this match. I like that double power bomb, double foot stomp spot that they did with Kofi. Kofi always manages to put on a highlight. He is like the human highlight reel of WWE. You can always rely on Kofi to do some cool stuff. Unfortunately for Kofi, he got rewarded by being the guy to lose the match for his team. Eric Young did the flying clothesline. They went through the table. And because Eric Young initiated a move through the table to Kofi Kingston, Sanity was declared victorious in the match. Fine stuff. Right finish here. Right people won. No real complaints. I thought it was good for a kickoff match, and I'll just leave it at that. I did enjoy Kofi's work in particular. I'm still sick of the New Day, and I'm surprised at how many people on Twitter, when Kofi did this interview saying there's no plan for them to break up, there's no need for them to break up, a lot of people say they agree. I disagree. I think New Day is played out. However, I understand Kofi's point of view that they're better off as a team than as singles guys. I mean, they would most likely be lost in the shuffle if they split up. So it's probably in their best interest to stay together. I just feel like the act has gone very stale. All right, so now it's main pay-per-view time, and it is ranting time. This is what you guys tune in for. We have 366 live viewers right now. This show gave me a headache, and I feel like pulling my hair out. But instead of pulling my hair out, I will do this. If we hit 500 live viewers tonight, I will bleach my hair. I will put in blonde bleach like Cody Rhodes. I will do that if we hit 500 live viewers tonight. And just as I say that, we're up to 390, so it could very well happen. Trend87 left a $2 super chat donation. The booking was shit and that Orton bit WTF. We will talk about Randy Orton here in just a few minutes. Spoiler alert, although if you're watching this video and you're not wanting to be spoiled, then that's not the best of ideas. Off the video, if you don't want to be spoiled while you're watching the video. This is a review video. I'm talking spoilers. We just crossed over 400 viewers. Again, 500 live viewers, I will bleach my hair. That is the deal here, if we can hit 500 viewers by the end of this video. All right, so the opening match of Extreme Rules, the main pay-per-view, was for the Raw Tag Team titles. We had Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defending against the B Team. Now, a little flashback here to the predictions video. You guys might remember what I said. I said it should be a quick 5-minute match, squash match, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt win, move on, end the B Team, send them to pasture, and then set up Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt against Authors of Pain or Revival, or actually something that people care about. Brent Block sent in a $5 super chat donation for an electric razor. All right, well, thank you for that, Brent Block. I appreciate the super chat donation. So, I talked about what I think should have happened in this match. And now Mike B with a $10 super chat donation. Hey, Aaron, hopefully Raw will be more fun being there live tomorrow in Buffalo than watching that shit on TV. Keep up the great work. You're awesome. Thank you for that, Mike B. I appreciate it very much. And, of course, watching it live is always a lot of fun, even if it's not the best creative output by WWE. Alan with a $5 super chat donation. Finally have a chance to watch another No DQ Live, and it just had to be after this shit show. LOL, good to be here, Aaron. Rant on. All right, so now let's rant. I've been getting the super chat donations and getting distracted. B Team won. New tag team champions, the B Team. Wow, are you freaking kidding me? And Matt Hardy took the fall too, although does it really matter at this point? So Matt Hardy is a joke. Bray Wyatt has been a joke. I'm not sure if Bray Wyatt's recent car accident had anything to do with this title change. It very well could have, but really? The B team? This is terrible. I'm so tired of the B team already. This gimmick is not even opening match quality. It's kickoff match quality at best. I'd rather see Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us team up with a giant panda bear and have them win the tag team titles. That would be more entertaining than the B team being the tag team champions. And we might already have the Savage line of the night from David. This pay-per-view was a car accident. Ouch. And Rec made the beat with a $2 super chat donation. Send me a super chat now. LOL, no, just playing. And Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Not even a Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt stare down. Hopefully Authors of Pain win the tag team titles tomorrow. That would be awesome. Just end this. Make them transitional champions. I'm really hoping that's the case. Put the titles on Revival or Authors of Pain and just get the Raw Tag Team division rolling again, because now it just sucks. It's completely flat. Yes, guys, please share this video. If I hit 500 tonight, I will bleach my hair. I have made that stipulation for tonight. We have dropped under 400, so you guys got to share this, Facebook, Twitter, and let's get that number up to 500 tonight. TJS says hashtag FTR. I really don't have all that much more to say about the match. I was very disappointed with it, obviously with the B team winning. They did this little victory speech afterwards. Crowd really didn't know what to make of it. They were cheering mostly for Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. So yeah, I mean, there was a dueling chant of let's go B team sucks, but yeah, other than that, it felt like the crowd really didn't care. Although you could say that about this crowd for most of the show. This was not, with all due respect to Greg Cherry, our wrestling trivia champion, this crowd sucked in Pittsburgh. This was not one of the better WWE crowds of the year. Alfred with a $5 super chat donation. We miss No DQ CAW. Consider bringing it back. Do you remember when we collaborated on CAW Convergence years ago? Hope all is well. Well, thank you for that. I do remember that. Those were good times, and I remember doing a lot of different events with different people. But as you might know, maybe you don't, but it was announced, 2K Games announced that the new WWE game will not be on the Switch this year. So that pretty much rules out any possibility of me doing a reunion show, which I had thought about, but then they put out the game last year, which was complete crap, and those plans pretty much died. So maybe one day. Never say never. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Does the B team winning help Raw's credibility? Was that a serious question? Thank you for the super chat donation, but no, it did not help Raw's credibility. Let's move on here. I really have nothing else to say about B team and Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt. Let's talk about Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor. I thought that this match was okay, but really it was just a Raw match. Did not feel like a pay-per-view quality match. DJ Whitey with a $5 super chat donation. Asuka is officially buried. You guys on the panel should give away prizes for the most correct predictions. I think Jeff won as far as the no DQ panel goes with the predictions, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so Bo Dallas pinned Matt Hardy again. I'm done talking about it. Finn Balor and Baron Corbin, to me it was just a match with pretty much a non-finish. Corbin dominated pretty much the entire match. Balor countered the End of Days into an inside cradle and won. So basically it was a finish designed to keep the feud going. The announcers were teasing that Corbin will have some sort of response for this, so I'm sure they'll have another match on Raw, maybe another 5 matches over the next month, and I really don't care. Not interested in the feud, and this match was just a total nothing match. Really did nothing to make me want to see them wrestle again, quite frankly, which it should really be the opposite, but it is what it is, like I say. Alright, now we move on to Carmella versus Asuka. I wanted to hate this match, and I know a lot of you did hate this match, but I have to give WWE credit for the creativity points. I did find this match to be funny. Now, with that being said, do you really do comedy like this in a match with Asuka? Somebody who, for over a year, was on this dominant winning streak. She had a ton of credibility. People were saying she could face Ronda Rousey. They could do a big match with those two. And now Asuka has been resorted to losing in what was basically a comedy match. Rec made the beat with a $5 super chat donation. I was happy that the belts changed hands here. Not sure what happens next now. Ronda Rousey was awesome, though. We will get to Ronda Rousey here in a few minutes. So, basically, Ellsworth was in the shark cage, and it was pretty much exactly what you would expect. WWE doesn't really feel that the fans have any intelligence. Why would they not check on James Ellsworth? Check his clothes to see if he's carrying any objects. This doesn't make any sense because time in and time out, we see these cage matches, these shark cage matches where the guy in the shark cage throws something down. It happens all the time. Do the people in charge of WWE in storyline not follow their own product? Really? Tony Braden with a $2 super chat donation. James Pinata Ellsworth. Pretty much that's what he was, and thank you for the super chat donation. Ellsworth, right from the beginning of the match, basically the match was built around Ellsworth. I mean, Carmella and Asuka really didn't do much. Ellsworth was the star of the match. Ellsworth threw down a chain, but the referee was able to grab it. Then he threw down the spray bottle. Carmella tried to use that and failed. And then the two of them were on the outside of the ring, Carmella and Asuka. And then Ellsworth apparently had keys. So he didn't even break the bars like Chyna did or use baby oil like Enzo did to escape. He just had keys. He's way smarter than them. He just found a key somewhere apparently and was able to unlock himself. But then the funny moment was, and I did find this to be funny. He got caught and he was hanging upside down from the cage, and this was funny. I did enjoy this. Unfortunately, Asuka was in the match and it was on pay-per-view, so it really did nothing to help Asuka's credibility here. Like the other comment mentioned, Asuka took the opportunity to use James Ellsworth as a piñata. She hit him several times, but then in the distraction, Carmella knocked Asuka headfirst into the cage and then pinned her. So yes, Carmella defeated Asuka at Extreme Rules, and the whole thing with Asuka is pretty much a joke. I agree with you guys on that. This was a funny bit to do with Ellsworth. Should have been done. Different match with a different opponent for Carmella. Big G with a $2 super chat donation saying, a team of monkeys can write better than this. And Peter with a $2 super chat donation, he stated, does Becky Lynch challenge for the title next? And thank you guys for the super chat donations. I would think so. By the way, we're at 410, so not quite at 500 yet. As a reminder, 500 live viewers, and I will bleach my hair. Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Ellsworth has overstayed his welcome already. His involvement has overshadowed the entire feud. I agree with you, Eddie, and when he was released, I felt bad for him because his run was ending, but at the same time, I felt like it was played out. They brought him back, and yeah, this was funny, but it was the wrong time to do it with Asuka in the match. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation. I forgot to mention to you that I'm wearing my No DQ shirt tomorrow to give you some publicity. I hope that that'll bring more subs to this awesome channel. Thank you for that, Mike B. Again, much appreciated. Mike B, Eddie Smith, and everyone else leaving the super chat donations. Thank you guys very much. You guys are awesome. Fire Disco Panda. This is a little off topic here. Aaron, did you see the Botchamania mention you on Facebook? Yes, I did. And if you actually looked at the comments, I did respond to some people on there. That was quite amusing. And I did repost the old Sandman clip over on No DQ's Twitter account. All right, let's move on here. This was a bit of a train wreck with Asuka and Carmella, but it is what it is. I like to say that phrase a lot. It is on a t-shirt after all, nodq.com/shirts. All right, moving on here to Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura. Match of the year candidate, guys. 6 stars, 7 stars. I mean, if this was in Japan, it would have gotten 8 stars. But yeah, basically, Jeff Hardy came out and Nakamura gave him a low blow when the referee was distracted. Before the bell rang, the referee started the match, and then Nakamura immediately hit a Kinshasa and won. I would say Jeff Hardy's an idiot for not wearing a cup against Nakamura, but whatever. Maybe he just wasn't watching the AJ Styles matches. Maybe he had better things to do. Maybe he was doing his art or whatever. You know, he's Jeff Hardy. He's weird. So, yeah, I'll overlook it. I don't care. I'm not going to nitpick about this not making sense. Supernatural 28 with a $1 super chat donation. Thank you for that, but no comment. He left no comment. Feel free to leave one. Nakamura is the new U.S. champion, courtesy of a low blow and a Kinshasa. And then Randy Orton came out. So Randy Orton made his big return after being gone for 2 months. Orton came out and he got in the ring. Nakamura was on the outside. Big tease that Orton was going to do something to Nakamura, teasing a match between them. And then, swerve! Vince Russo playbook here. Randy Orton attacks Jeff Hardy and hits him low. So Jeff Hardy's balls really have to be hurting at this point. Randy Orton heel turn, which I do like. I think Orton's better as a heel than a babyface, but this was pretty random, as a lot of people put it in the chat room. Andre Ward with a $2 super chat donation. How do you feel about Orton's heel turn on Hardy? Like I said, I'm a fan of Orton being a heel, but this was very random. The whole thing was really random. And people were thinking, okay, well, is Jeff Hardy hurt? And they had to do this angle to get the title off of him. But then they announced a rematch, Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. So we get a nothing match, you know, a 10-second match on pay-per-view, and now on SmackDown we're getting the rematch, which I'm guessing will be a full-length match. If this was the $50 era, it'd be ridiculous. But here, whatever, I'm not going to sweat it. Darren with a $2 super chat donation. Was the match short because Jeff is still hurt? I mean, that's what's going around, that he's hurt and he's been working hurt. But if this is the case, why book a rematch for SmackDown? Unless they're going to do another angle. Just very weird to me. Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat donation. This was so dumb, he says. And Mr. B, 2614 with a $10 super chat donation. When do we get no DQ water bottles? They're expensive. I did look it up. They are a bit pricey, but maybe I will consider it if there's enough demand for it. By the way, 450. We have reached our peak tonight. If we hit 500 by the end of the night, I will bleach my hair blonde. You heard it. I will pull a Cody Rhodes / Ric Flair and bleach my hair. I'm not even kidding. I will totally do it if we hit 500. We're at 460. We're so close, guys. You got to share this. Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, MySpace. Call a friend. Smokescreen them. Email them. Whatever you got to do so we hit 500 tonight for No DQ Live. Let's make this one of the biggest No DQ Lives of all time. Supernatural 28 with a $2 super chat donation. He says, think NXT stars cry in fear when they get called up? They might, but at the same time, if the money's better, there's only so much crying they're going to do. They might cry, but they'll cry into $100 bills, if you know what I mean. And I got this super chat donation from Matt, $5. Thank you for that, Matt. Thank you to everyone, by the way, for the super chats. Do you think Lesnar's last 3 years in WWE have tarnished his legacy? I think that WWE should have done something different with him. I sound like a broken record when I say this, but I think Lesnar and Paul Heyman should have split. Paul Heyman should have found a new beast, and Lesnar should have been a thing of the past as far as Paul Heyman is concerned. And then Lesnar has to go through Heyman's new guy and have a feud with Heyman's new protege. That's a storyline WWE should have done. And this whole Lesnar coming out every 3 or 4 months, Heyman doing the promos, it just got really old and repetitive. So yeah, I'm not a fan with how Lesnar has been handled as of late. Eddie Smith left a $10 super chat donation. I'm not sure this was so much a heel turn. Oh, by the way, 480. We're so close, guys. So close to 500. I'm not sure this was so much a heel turn than it was Orton just trying to one-up Nakamura. He might be a tweener, but not a full-fledged heel, but who knows. It felt like a heel turn. Orton's mannerisms when he attacked Hardy and then the way he looked at the camera and the crowd, it felt to me like a real heel turn. It wasn't before like he would do it for one-upsmanship. He would show way more personality, be way more animated. Here he just kind of was stoic. It felt to me like a real heel turn. It definitely felt different from those other times he would hit the RKO out of nowhere on baby faces. You know, he would just be way more animated and the announcers would play it up like, you know, it's every man for himself. But here it was different. It definitely had the feeling of a heel turn. But who knows? It's WWE, so you never know for sure. This guy left a $2 super chat donation. Pay-per-view was lame. Only my 3-month-old watched Bob L. I think Bobby Lashley, right? Yeah, Bob L. Bobby Lashley. Got it. And he gave the thumbs up. Thank you for the super chat donation. We are just over 480, so less than 20 away now from 500. Come on, guys, we're so close. You guys want to see me bleach my hair? I'll even do a video of it if we hit 500. But we got to hit 500 for it to happen. Chris Mace with a $1 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate it. No comment, though. Chris Mace, though, he wants a shot at Greg Cherry, so I might have to set that up for the premiere of Season 5 of Wrestling Trivia Challenge, which will be coming very soon, so stay tuned, guys, for that. All right, let's move on here. Let's get back to the pay-per-view. Next up, we had Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match. I enjoyed this match. I thought that this was one of the better matches of the show in terms of the booking. Yeah, the booking was quite ridiculous on this show, but I actually did like this. It was good for what it was. So basically, trying to Strowman kept bringing him back in the ring. Owens hit a frog splash, which Strowman kicked out of at 1. And you guys know me, I'm not a big fan of the constant two counts. I like when somebody kicks out at 1. So when Strowman kicks out, I like it. Chris Ramirez says, get a low fade haircut like Rusev. And he left a $2 super chat donation. Well, thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate the comment and the super chat donation. I like the fact that now I got Rusev on the brain. I like the fact that Owens hit the frog splash and Strowman kicked out at 1. The crowd was into Strowman. They were chanting one more time every time Strowman would throw Owens into the cage. I like the fact that Owens brought in handcuffs to try and gain an advantage. I like that. Strowman, of course, ripped off the handcuffs. Owens was trying to escape. Strowman caught up with him at the top of the cage. And then in the big spot of the evening, Strowman chokeslammed, or basically tossed Kevin Owens off the top of the steel cage, and Owens went all the way to the floor. Huge spot to end the match. Kane Horn with a $3 super chat donation. How come Kane didn't kick his leg magically better? We'll get to that in a few minutes here, Kane Horn. We'll talk about the whole match with Kane. By the way, we're at 4. We dropped down to 456. So, yeah, I'm not sure if we peaked tonight. We might have peaked, even though I still have a lot more to talk about. I still have Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley to talk about. I still have the main event to talk about. So we might hit 500 tonight. What the hell? Holy cow, we dropped down to 415. Wow. What did I say that killed the ratings? Shit. Oh, well. Well, it was a dream, folks. The dream is over, as John Lennon might say. Bailey is cool with a $2 super chat donation. Kevin Owens saying suck it was the best spot. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. That was hilarious. Owens was great in this match. I gotta say, I was very entertained by him. And yes, there was some sort of airbag or some sort of cushion under the table to protect, excuse me, Owens' fall. Some people were trying to say, well, you know, you criticized New Japan for being too reckless, but then they do this. The thing is, this was a very safe, choreographed spot. You know, I think it was done about as safely as possible. Lewis with a $2 super chat donation. Poor signal connection. Oh, great. Am I having issues with the video quality, guys? Maybe that's why we lost all the viewers. But yeah, we are down to 401, so we came so close. I think we hit like 488. Disappointing. But we do have some new viewers here. Jason says, new viewer here, and he gives me the thumbs up. TJS says, KO is Mick Foley. I mean, this was definitely a much safer spot than Mick Foley going off the Hell in a Cell. I thought it was well done. I mean, it was very safely choreographed, and it was a cool holy crap moment on the pay-per-view, which desperately needed some moments like this. John says I jinxed myself. Josh says we hit 492. Well, it was like 488, 490, something like that, and bam, we just went under 400. So it's all downhill from here. Wow, I totally screwed that up. It's all downhill from here, folks. All right, so back to the match. Owens was taken out on a stretcher, and Owens was the winner. This was something I had mentioned during the predictions video, the idea that maybe Strowman would throw Owens into the cage would break, and Owens would win. Owens would basically win by a fluke because of something that Strowman did, or Strowman would choke slam him through the ring and Owens would crawl out, something like that. So WWE did something different here, and I like it. It was different, and it was a cool spot. It was memorable, and yeah, it was safe. There was a cushion there, but hey, I'd rather they be safe than be reckless. So I thought it was well done. Owens won, and good stuff here. I enjoyed it. One of the best parts of the show. All right, so moving on here, we had Team Hell No versus the Bludgeon Brothers for the tag team titles on SmackDown. Very disappointing match. So apparently Kane was legitimately injured. They did an angle with Kane. Maybe he wasn't, but I feel like it was a real injury. I'm sure we'll know fairly soon what the deal was. I think WWE reported something about him having a broken ankle, or I'm not even sure what it was. But WWE reported something that he suffered an injury. They did an angle backstage where the Bludgeon Brothers attacked Daniel Bryan and Kane, and they took the mallet. They smashed the mallet into the door, which went into Kane, and Kane was selling his foot. And then we had a handicapped match. It was Daniel Bryan versus Harper and Rowan. Bryan was able to hold his own, and then Kane did come out, and Kane was wearing a boot on his leg. Kane came out, and this is why I think it was a legitimate injury, because Kane did practically nothing in this match. He went for the chokeslam. He actually hit 2 chokeslams, but both guys completely did all the work. They both went up, and it was basically Harper and Rowan jumping up in the air and taking a bump, with Kane just sticking his hand out right at their throat. I mean, Kane basically put no weight on his foot. So yeah, I think it was a legitimate injury because it just looked so bad. And people, of course, are complaining about the injury angle, stating, well, this is Kane. Doesn't Kane have magical healing powers, or he's a demon? Why would he have an injury like this? I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous. If it is a legitimate injury, then it's a clear reason why Kane should be moving on, and he's doing the politics, running for mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, and this could be a sign that it's time to hang it up. But yeah, really disappointing match. Going in, there was all the hype surrounding this match, and I have to say this was a letdown. Bryan ended up taking the pinfall, despite Kane coming out and saving the day. So yeah, that's it for Team Hell No. What a reunion. Brayden says, did Bryan resign? The report is that he did resign with the company and that he is sticking around, which I pretty much expected. I was never really thinking that he was going to leave the company. I figured he would resign and stick around. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, assuming he wins, this could realistically be it for Kane. Yeah, which is really sad, too. You would think that if Kane wasn't hurt, they would not have booked a match like this. They would have done something more significant, and Kane would have actually done more if this was potentially going to be his last match. So if this injury was worked, which I don't think it was, then it was a really bad way to write off Kane. Really unfortunate. So we'll see what happens with the election, but I feel like Kane is pretty much done at this point as far as being a regular in WWE goes. Maybe he'll come back for one more match, but I think him winning the election is, for all intents and purposes, his final run in WWE. Nelson with a $2 Super Chat donation. Which reunion is worse, Shield or Team Hell No? Good question. Maybe the Shield, because you were expecting more out of it, I guess. Although with Team Hell No, I was expecting something. But I think with the Shield, we were expecting several matches. And we didn't even get the one match because of the injuries. And Roman Reigns getting sick. So we never really got the full-blown Shield pay-per-view match that we were hoping for. At least we got something here now. Just was it what we were hoping for? Caleb Jacob says, your favorite match of the night with a $2 Super Chat donation. I am torn between 2 matches. One of them being the cage match with Strowman and Owens. And then there's another match, which I will mention here very shortly. All right, moving on. I talked about Team Hell No versus Bryan and Kane. Let's talk about the match that I'm surprised was not the closing match of the show. Bob Lashley versus Roman Reigns. Mixed feelings on this match. I felt like these guys were trying to have a really good match, and I thought it was pretty good. They had some good moments in this match. You had Roman Reigns basically tossing Lashley over the top rope, and Lashley just taking a crazy bump to the floor. That was really impressive. That would have been a great Royal Rumble finish if they were the last 2 guys in the Royal Rumble and that's how the Royal Rumble ended. That was a great spot there if that was done at the Royal Rumble. And it was good for this match, but unfortunately for these guys, the crowd did not care, as you would expect. I think they might have been turning down the crowd noise during this match, because I heard that the live crowd was chanting a lot of things, but only a few chants you could hear on the pay-per-view. I was able to hear Rusev Day, but then the crowd started doing the wave, and there was no noise. So it was really weird, because you look in the crowd, you see all the people doing the wave, but there's no crowd sound. So I think WWE started muting the crowd during points in this match, which hurt the match. When there's no crowd reaction, you know, it hurts the quality of the match. And speaking of the crowd hurting the match, we will get to that more here in just a few minutes. So, I thought it was good for what it was, but the crowd definitely did not help matters. We had Reigns go for his big spear, and then Lashley instead came back with his own spear to Reigns. So just when you thought Reigns was going to hit the spear, Lashley came in, hit the spear, and beat Roman Reigns clean. I am legitimately surprised by this. I went with Reigns to win. I'm a little surprised that Lashley won. They have to be doing Lesnar versus Lashley now, right? I mean, surely they cannot be going with Reigns versus Lesnar again after this finish. It has to be Lashley versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. That's the one match we haven't seen yet. And why would WWE book this finish if they're not doing Lesnar versus Lashley? Lashley's the one guy Lesnar hasn't beaten. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. If Reigns is still in the SummerSlam match, then I give up. I just don't know what this company is doing anymore. Lashley versus Lesnar at least makes sense, because it's one match that we haven't seen yet from Lesnar, and to me, it's got to be one of the main reasons to bring back Lashley to do this match. If you're not doing the match, why even bring Lashley back? Because when you think of Bobby Lashley, he comes back to WWE, who do you want to see him face? Brock Lesnar. You know, the two beasts, the two big bulls. I mean, after all, people were calling Lashley Black Lesnar for a while. Nelson with a $2 Super Chat donation, or a triple threat, shaking my head. They got to do one-on-one. It's just going to be lame if they do a triple threat. But then again, what else does Reigns do? So, would not shock me if they made it a triple threat. Tony says, does Bob beat Lesnar? He might as well at this point. By the way, we're back up again. We're at 440. Can we get to 500 by the end? You guys got to share this. Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Reddit. Any site, any message board you go on the comments section of a site and say, hey, check out No DQ Live. Whatever you can do, anywhere you can share a link to this video. I got about 3 or 4 more matches to cover. If we hit 500, I will bleach my hair and I will record it on video. This guy with a $2 Super Chat donation, sadly we know Brock is going over Bobby. Well, Brock is planning to do another UFC fight, so he's got to lose the title soon. I say just have Lashley beat him and move on. And then they can do Reigns versus Lashley, or Lashley versus Strowman. Maybe turn Lashley heel. There's a lot of things they could do. Turn Reigns heel, but yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. And to answer Mike Nixon's question, yes, they did mention the UFC interview. There was no mention on Raw, but here on the pay-per-view, Kurt Angle did address it, bringing up that Brock showed up at the UFC pay-per-view, and Angle said that Lesnar has to make a decision by Raw, either show up at Raw or have some sort of an announcement as to when he's going to defend the Universal title. If not, then Angle is going to strip him of the Universal title. 460. We are getting so close, guys. So close. Almost at 500. Can we do it, guys? I believe in you. I believe in each and every one of you. Like I believed in Hulkamania over the years. You guys can do it. We can get 500 tonight. Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat donation. And finally, a black WWE created championship reign. There you go. Now the guys on NoDQForums.com can finally stop complaining about that. But we all know they're just trolling anyways. Let's do it, No DQ Galaxy. We're at 470 now. 30 to go. Share the link. John says you're going to jinx yourself. Be careful. All right, I won't say anything else until we hit 490. All right, let's move on here. So next up we had, this was a long show. This was a really long show. I still got like 3 matches to go. We had Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Talk about overbooking. So we had Natalya at ringside. We had Mickie James at ringside. This was an Extreme Rules match. And I was really confused by this one. Okay, so it's basically 2-on-2, right? So the odds are even. We had Mickie James try to interfere. She was counteracted by Natalya. And I do like what they did with the weapons. Alexa would grab a kendo stick. Nia Jax would break it. Alexa kept trying to use weapons and Nia kept throwing them into the ring. I did like that. But then once Mickie James got involved, this match kind of became a train wreck. We had Natalya get beat down by Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. Now, even though it's 2-on-2, and it's not like anybody's being outnumbered or anything, Ronda Rousey decided to jump the barricade and interfere. So she's suspended, and instead of her being arrested, you know, if any fan with a ticket interfered, they would be arrested. But nothing happened to Ronda Rousey. She came in, she started beating them up, she was chasing Alexa Bliss around, and then Mickie attacked Ronda with a kendo stick. And then Alexa and Mickie double-teamed Nia Jax with steel chair shots. And then Alexa hit the DDT to Nia on the steel chair and scored the pinfall. So for those of you that don't know math, basically it was 3-on-2. The baby faces had an advantage over the heels, 3-on-2, and the heels still prevailed. What? What kind of backwards booking is this? And no wonder people don't care about the baby faces. You stack the deck against the heel and the heel still wins. This was dumb. I wasn't a fan of this booking at all. Eddie Smith with a $10 super chat donation. Ronda's yoga pants were the highlight of this show. Well, that's certainly a valid claim to the highlight of the show, I must say. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Which brand had the better women's title match? Whew. I think I was more entertained by the Asuka match, but the thing is, I think Asuka was more damaged from that match. Nia Jax, nobody really cares about her much at this point, so yeah, I'm not really sure. They were both booked pretty poorly, in my opinion, I gotta say. I just don't understand the psychology in Ronda Rousey evening the odds when they were already even. And then the heel still wins. Yeah, I thought it was crap. Now, if somebody else interfered and made it 4-on-3, if you had the Riot Squad, for instance, interfere and they were the baby faces were outnumbered, then it would make a little bit more sense. But when you have 3-on-2 and the heels still win, yeah, it sucked. And as Kayfabe Candy Ass pointed out, the chair shots couldn't crack an egg. They were pretty weak. Grant Peoples 3 with a $1 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Greg. We are still at 460. We're so close to 500, guys. I got 2 matches left to cover. Can we hit 500 by the end of this video? Let's talk about the last 2 matches of the night. The first was the match that I thought was going to be the main event once Reigns and Lashley took place. And that was AJ Styles versus Rusev. I actually thought that this was maybe the best booked match of the show. even though there is the whole psychology issue of a heel selling an injury. Usually, it's the good guy that is selling the injury. But at the same time, I liked it in a sense that it protected Rusev. Rusev is a monster, and I like the fact that he was protected in this match. He lost, but you know, he had an excuse basically. He was selling his leg during the match, and I like the fact that Rusev had several near falls on AJ Styles, and I have to say, they were believable near falls. When Rusev hit that Mashka kick, I actually thought he was going to win the title. So usually I complain about the near falls because they're done so often, especially in John Cena Roman Reigns matches. But here, I thought Rusev for a split second was going to win the WWE title. So I was into the match. I thought it was really good. I like the fact that Aiden English was interfering on Rusev's behalf, you know, pushing the ropes so Rusev could grab the ropes. I like that. And then we had English expose the turnbuckle, but the plan backfired. Rusev hit the turnbuckle, and then AJ hit a springboard 450, only for Rusev to kick out. So Rusev hit the turnbuckle and then got hit with the springboard 450 and still kicked out. I like this. It protected Rusev. Rusev ultimately lost the match to the phenomenal forearm, but he kicked out after going into the turnbuckle, the exposed turnbuckle, and getting hit with the springboard 450. So I like it. I thought it was a well-booked match. Rusev came out strong in defeat. Good stuff here. This and the cage match I thought were the two best matches on the show. Jeremy John with a $5 super chat donation. I'm sick and tired of the WWE Championship being treated lower than the mid-card titles. And this I agree with you on. It would have been nice for just once if the WWE title match closed the show. Now, if the Iron Man match lived up to expectations and had a great finish, then you could argue, well, maybe you should put the IC title match on last. But with the way that main event went down, the WWE title definitely should have closed the pay-per-view. Will the WWE title ever close a pay-per-view again? Probably not, as long as AJ Styles is WWE champion, unfortunately, but maybe he will get it. Maybe it has to be AJ versus Reigns or AJ versus John Cena again or something for the WWE title to be the main event again. Samoa Joe was not on this show because WWE had no creative direction for him, and I think they're saving him for AJ at SummerSlam. Grant Peoples 3 with a $2 super chat donation. We should get Styles versus Joe versus Eric Young in a match. Maybe that'll happen on SmackDown, but I would not count on that happening at a pay-per-view anytime soon. And a $2 super chat donation from Nelson. How do you feel about 30-minute Iron Man matches? All right, let's talk about the Iron Man match. So, I wasn't a big fan of it. I think Rollins and Ziggler put on a great performance athletically, but I think they were very much handcuffed by the booking of this show, and then we had the issue with the crowd. So let's talk about the crowd first before I talk about the actual match itself and how it went down. So the crowd decided to entertain themselves by basically doing a countdown literally every minute. There was a clock on the screen, the 30 minutes. Every minute, when it got down to the last 10 seconds, the crowd would do the Royal Rumble countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then they would do the buzz sound. And it got really annoying. The first time they did it, it was funny. Second time, not quite as funny. Third time, not funny at all. Kind of like the B team. And then it got to the 20th time, the 21st time, the 22nd time. They just kept doing it over and over and over again. And then WWE took off the counter for a while because it was just being ridiculous how many times the fans were doing this. But that didn't work. The fans kept doing it. They kept making up a 10-second countdown, or they would go on the network and see what the time was. The crowd just kept doing it over and over again, and it just killed the match. It really, I could even see it, like with Rollins and Ziggler. Rollins visibly looked frustrated. He looked legitimately pissed off. And if I was those guys, I would be pissed off because this was just so obnoxious. It did nothing to the match. The crowd seemed bored by doing this. And if I was the wrestlers, I would be pissed off. I mean, these guys were out there. They were just busting their asses. Ziggler had a nice Hulk Hogan level tan for this match, getting his big singles pay-per-view main event. And the crowd was just not really getting into it. Stephen Osborne left a $2 super chat donation. The countdown sucked, but the buzz sound was golden. Again, it was funny the first time they did it, and then they did it like 30 times. Michael Wayne says, I was pissed off at Pittsburgh. Turbonia says, Dolph was more orange than Donald Trump. The crowd was chanting other things as well, apparently. I'm not sure what they were chanting besides just doing the countdown. Maybe they were chanting Let's Go Rollins at one point. So now let's talk about the booking of the match. Way too many falls. Totally unnecessary. What I would have done is I would have had Ziggler be on the verge of losing the first fall. Rollins would be close to winning his first fall, and then McIntyre would interfere, causing a DQ. Eddie Smith left a $10 super chat donation. What was the point of having the IC title match on if you're just going to do a screwy finish? I cannot wrap my head around it. Agree with you, Eddie, and I will talk about that here in a second. Thank you for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciated, my friend. So, what I would have done is I would have had Ziggler be about to lose. Rollins would go for the foot stomp, and then McIntyre would jump Rollins, and then that would cause a DQ. McIntyre would beat the hell out of beat the hell out of Rollins. And then you would have Ziggler get not one, but 2 falls to take the lead. I would keep it like that for the rest of the match. 2-on-1, Rollins has to come back. He's gotta get something going. He's got a 2-to-1 odds against him. He's gotta make his big comeback. The other issue I had with this match was McIntyre. The storyline here was that McIntyre was allowed at ringside, but then the referee kicks him out and he leaves. Huh? The stipulation was that he could be at ringside. So how does the referee have the authority to kick him out? I don't get it. This was dumb. McIntyre should have either been out there the entire match or don't do that stupid stipulation in the first place. Just not do what they did on Raw. Have the match, have McIntyre interfere, and then be kicked out. That's it. The way this was done was stupid. Nelson with the $2 super chat donation. Eddie deserves a free shirt from the donations. I believe I sent Eddie a t-shirt, but if he wants another one, email me, Eddie, nodqmisc@gmail.com. I would be happy to send you another one. Eddie is the guy who's been sending all the super chat donations. Well, not all of them, but he's been sending a good amount tonight. So, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this with McIntyre, him being kicked out, and just too many falls. So, on Raw, they had a 30-minute match, no falls. All of a sudden, they're having 5, 6, 7 falls in a 15-minute span? Really? Just wasn't believable. The booking sucked. It's too bad because these guys were out there having the best possible match they could have. Crowd wasn't caring. Crowd was doing their stuff. The booking was just completely wacky. And I feel bad for Ziggler and Rollins. I would be legitimately pissed off if I was them. Not just at the crowd, but quite frankly, the WWE creative team as well. I mean, this sucked. Gaming 2 DMA XX with a $2 super chat donation. The building of Drew being at ringside was wasted. I agree on that. It shouldn't have been done. It just, that whole stipulation on Raw was pointless because he interfered, he got kicked out, and then he returned later. Peter with a $2 super chat donation. Finn Balor for the IC title at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be versus Corbin again, or maybe they'll do some sort of multi-man match. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, the crowd sucked, but this is what you get for 4-hour shows. People got bored. Well, the crowd was more into Money in the Bank. I was there, and the crowd was good for that show. So I'm not sure if it was just a bad crowd or what, but yeah. Greg Cherry, you got to put your people in check here. Anyways, it was something like 4-3. Rollins tied it up 4-4, and then he hit the curb stomp, and then the time expired. We had Ziggler leaving the ring with the title. By the way, I like the fact that Ziggler was trying to run at the end. And actually, this is another mistake I think they made with the booking. I think it should have ended 4-4, not with Rollins hitting the foot stomp, but rather Ziggler running. Ziggler going into the crowd and running away, and then the time running out. Then Kurt Angle has a better reason to go out there and put the match into overtime because Ziggler was running away like a coward. But in this case, Ziggler lasted the clock, and he's a heel. He lasted the clock. Rollins could not get the job done. So why does he get overtime? Yeah, I know McIntyre interfered, whatever, but I think this would have made way more sense if we had Ziggler running away and the clock runs out because Ziggler was a coward and would not give Rollins a chance to win the match. So Angle came out, he put the match into overtime, and then Dolph Ziggler immediately hit the ring, interfered. Ziggler hit the zigzag, I think it was the zigzag, whatever his finisher is. And then he pinned Rollins immediately when the match started in overtime. Stupid finish. Why put this on last if this is how you're going to end the show? Should have been AJ versus Rusev. I did a poll on NoDQ.com and pretty much everyone agreed with me that, well, not everyone. I think Ziggler and Rollins was like 20% or something, but the majority of the votes went to AJ and Rusev. Should have ended with AJ versus Rusev. Tony Braden with a $2 super chat donation. Kurt Angle has bad luck with Iron Man matches. Turbonia says crap finish. Curtis says musty dusty finish. And Simply Cindy says shitty ending. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this. And overall, the booking on the show was pretty damn awful. All right. So that's my review for the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Now, it's time to talk about the letter grade. What letter grade do I give this show? I really have to think about this because there's so much to digest. I have a few moments on this show that I thought were good. I did like the cage match. I did like AJ versus Rusev. I even liked the kickoff match with the tables. Kofi Kingston did a good job. So there were some good things on this show. But the booking was really awful. And there was no real match of the year candidate. Even AJ and Rusev, I don't think was a match of the year candidate. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. What's the best and worst Iron Man match you saw? Oh, excuse me on that. This is what happens when I talk for an hour with no break. Gaming 2D Max with a $2 super chat donation. C+. Best Iron Man match. I do like the Triple H Rock one, even though we had that screwy finish with The Undertaker. It was cool, but they kind of botched it at the end. I really like Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar from 2003. Worst one, I mean, are we talking 1 hour or are we talking 30 minutes? I'd have to think about the worst one. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. But anyways, back to the letter grade. Thank you guys for the super chats. Letter grade. I think I'm going to go with... I did like Orton's return too, even though it was very random. I will give it a C. Yeah, I'll give it a C. Out of respect to Kevin Owens for that bump and Rusev and AJ, I will give this show a C. A for effort from the workers, and probably an F for booking, which averages out to a C. So yeah, I think I feel comfortable with a C. Cindy gives it a D+. Stephen Osborne gives it a C+. Cindy with a D+. Stephen with a C+. I'm seeing a lot of C's in here. So yeah, I give it a solid C. Right about average for a WWE pay-per-view. But it was a very mixed bag. So it was one of those pay-per-views that had some good moments, some bad moments. No real worst moment of the year. No real best moment of the year. Just some things that had me scratching my head. Some moments I enjoyed. Mixed bag. So I'll give it a C. All right, let's see what you guys thought on NoDQ.com. I put up the poll earlier. I'm just curious to see what you guys put. Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys did not like the show very much. 71% thumbs down, 29% thumbs up. So if we're going by the Rotten Tomatoes, it's basically 29%, which is definitely a rotten rating for the show. Tony Braden with a $4 super chat donation. Finally getting my No DQ shirt tomorrow. Awesome, Tony. I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback and the support from everyone and the super chat donations, of course. Head over to NoDQ.com/shirts if you would like to pick up a NoDQ.com t-shirt. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Is this your lowest rated pay-per-view so far in the year? Ooh, that's a good question. I could have sworn I gave another pay-per-view this year a lower rating. What did I give the Greatest Royal Rumble? I don't remember. What did I give Backlash? Maybe I gave Backlash. I think I had to have given Backlash a worst rating just because of the way it ended. It was such a disaster. But yeah, booking on this show I thought was really bad. Alright guys, so I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of No DQ Live. Thank you all so much for your viewership and support as always. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be back tomorrow night for No DQ Live and Tuesday night. So please keep spreading the word. Tell a friend. Share a link to this video on social media. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for more No DQ Live. Take it easy.